Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Now this is a What If female Deku was the Sith Inquisitor Part 1. Now before we begin our What If, this is my first time dipping into the RWBY universe. So I might get some things wrong or incorrect or some names not pronounced a certain way that it's supposed to be. So you gotta forgive me on that because don't know much about Ruby a whole lot. I mean, when it first came out, I watched it. I thought it was a pretty cool show. Pretty cool. So I rewatched some of season one. Started from the very beginning. Got to like sometime after the relic test when they were near the docks after they already formed their yeah, because they did sorry, the pairing system and the relic system was all in the same thing. So yeah, so I got as far as when they get into the docks area for some reason. I don't really remember because that's where I left it off because it's been a little bit since I seen Ruby. So if this episode does really well, I'll implement more Ruby stuff in the future because I could definitely do this again if you guys enjoy it and you want to see more of it. It's all good to me. I've been wanting to get into other series besides Hero Academia. I just didn't know which one to go because if I went towards Naruto, that's a lot of information I have to uh, absorb, and I have to rewatch the whole long ass anime series, and I just kind of been dreading that. So I think Ruby is a good anime to start off if I'm doing outside of Hero Academia stuff. When it comes to Ruby, I don't know what would it be called? What it would fall under when it comes to what it is, but I always call it anime because it might be there's a couple computer animated animes are like movies out there, so I consider it anime, but some people might it might be under a certain genre that I'm not aware of. So let's stop rambling on about that. Like I said, if this does really well, I'll implement Wolf. Oh, sorry, my what if Deku had a what if female Deku had a wolf mutation? I'll put that in the Ruby universe if this does well. So if it doesn't, then I'll just do the normal route. Go to Hero Academia stuff like that. But we'll see. As you have Izumi walking out of the Darth office where she was after she got her mission, as she passed several of her plague troopers, you lot, come with me. We have a mission. As, ma'am, where are we going? We need to go to docks. I'll be informed of our transportation. As they get to the docks, as a very nervous, twitchy older gentleman comes up, my lord, our master has informed us you'll be acquiring a vessel. As he's twitching, as the plague troopers looking at each other like they're like, is the guy on something? Because he's twitching a whole lot. As you see a slave collar on his neck, yeah, the head inquisitor that Izumi works under, or her master, he has a lot of workers. Like, he has his own slave, a couple slaves, because they're more loyal because they always want to keep number one them. They want to keep themselves alive. So, anyways, because he messed up one time, and yeah, his punishment enslavement. So yeah, people don't want to mess around. Yeah, so he's a lot more stricter when it comes to his non-force user officers. That falls under his I forget. I totally. I just had it in my head. This like his his power base. I'm thinking a lot of things from different things from Star Wars, and things from Old Republic, the PC game, that massive on that massive online MMO. Taking some ideas from there and morphing into the my what if. So if you paid if you played Star Wars: The Old Republic on PC, you know what I'm talking about. And you know some scenes are kind of similar. Well, some things I've mentioned in the story kind of similar. As the man continues, Master wanted you to get outfitted with the best equipment possible. As they walk over, as Izumi sees her ship, it's a smaller ship, not a huge ship, but it's a decent sized ship for stealth missions. In the picture I have for the ship, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's from Star Wars, but I'm not totally sure. I'm not I'm not familiar with all the models of starships in Star Wars. As the man continues, this is what the ship looks like, by the way. So he's like, the the stealth ship does have firepower, but it's not very good at on head on collisions. Mostly used for as Izumi stealth operations for hit and run tactics. Guerrilla warf where oh guerrilla warfare for hit and runs. As he's like, I see him as he bows. He's like, well said, my lord. As Izumi, so is there anything else I should be aware of about this vessel? Sorry, guys. As he's like, yeah, you should keep an eye on the engine core. You know, the whole, hyperspace, sorry, hyperspace bullshit. As it's installed with a prototype. Master, our master thought it was a good idea to test it out on this mission. As very well, I'll keep an eye on that. You could leave now. As he scurries off. All right, men, get on board and gather some probe droids as well. As they as Izumi gets into the ship, as they load up the probe droids, the same probe droids that Darth Maul uses on the Phantom Menace. That's what I'm having her use. And short side note, she has done jobs for the Sith Intelligence because of um of her reputation, how she does her jobs, how she completes missions. So let's just get down to the more of the story. I'm rounding on. So as we cut to a few hours, actually we cut some time. Sorry guys. Let me put this on don't disturb, and we won't get those. As you have Izumi, as she's on the ground meditating, as she's slightly, yeah, she's just straight up floating. So you know, force and space wizards and all. So yeah, as she's in a dark room, as she's meditating, as she's getting flashes, she's she's getting what this is basically a force vision, basically. As she's getting flashes of the future, supposedly future, that which she would believe. Flashes of them, a battle in space at the end of the vision. there is a wormhole as it gobbles both ships up, and that's when the vision ends. She's floating in the air, and it's still in a meditation pose. As as the door comes, well, the ship door opens as a couple plague trooper comes in as they salute. As Izumi's like, report, troopers. We have arrived at the destination, the last known destination of the Jedi. As she floats down, as they don't see her face, she has her helmet off, but she's facing away from them. As she picks her helmet up, as it floats in the air, as it goes onto her head, as she used the force to put the helmet on and to maneuver her hair so it doesn't stick out. So as the helmet clamps on, or this comes on. I don't know if it's attached to anything. Really don't remember aspect of the armor, like if there's some sort of mechanism to take it off or not, like a button on the side somewhere. But we're not worried about that. It's just a helmet, so easy to take off and off and on. As they walk out of the hallway into the command center that's in his on her stealth ship. So has there any been suspicious activity recently? As one of the flight troopers like, no, ma'am. I still don't think they're here. Still, they've been on this planet for about a day or so. I figured they would have hit tail by now. As Izumi closes her eyes, as she senses through the force, because they tend to do that sometimes. So as she could sense the two Jedi still on the planet, they're still there. I could feel them. As the plague trooper, like, how, ma'am? Because I'm a fucking space wizard. That's how. Get get ready to a touchdown. As yeah, small pause. This ship does have stealth capabilities. It doesn't show up on the radars, and it has a stealth shield to make it invisible. But it doesn't. They can't use it during combat. It's for to keep the ship visible in case it lands somewhere. So that's how we're doing this. Because it would have been like a if I add cloak whiz battling airship wise, this might as well be a Klingon ship, or a yeah, or a Romulan ship because they have stealth take abilities when it comes to Star Trek. But let's stop about that. Let's get into the story. They land the ship at the dead of night, a little bit outside of the city borders, so they don't catch suspicion to land so close to the target area. As they found a nice clearing close enough so they get back and forth easy if they need to. As you have these little bots hovering all around her as they as sorry. Ah, I totally forgot her name now. Izumi. As she gestures to them to go as they fly around searching for the two Jedi. As there's two stay behind, as they have a little bit, they're little odd ones. Those spy drones, I guess I would like call them, but they're probes. These ones that she built from scratch, so they're like more of hers, and she's able to see all the probes what they see through her camera and her helmet. So she sees everything they see. So that's how she knows if they spotted them yet. Without all the droids, all the droids coming back. All right, Lieutenant, let's move out. You three stay behind and the fortify our location. This shouldn't take long. All right, you lot, ghost me. Stay on the roofs. This is a stealth mission. No, no frontal attacks. Do I make myself clear? As she's like, as the hermit's like, yes, ma'am. Good. Let's go. As they travel, as they travel through the forest, as they get to the city in the dead of night during a storm, it's not raining anymore. It just stopped. The storm just passed, so it's still sprinkling a little bit, but not by much. As you have Izumi scaling scaling the rooftops, stalking the Jedi, as she's masking her presence. She's been quite adept in that, where she could hide. She could hide her presence of being a Force user against other Jedi or Sith, just for stealth purposes. So that's what I'm giving her, what she's able to do. I mean, come on, if Palpatine could do something like that before he met his master, I mean, makes sense, she could do the same. Or Palpatine mask his force aptitude to sorry his force aptitude abilities from Dark Plagueis. So enough about that. Let's get on to story. As her Padawan's has the holocron, and she's like, Master, that was actually kind of fun. I mean, if they simply gave us the holocron, they wouldn't have had to be killed that way. As the blonde Jedi, be mindful of your feelings, Padawan. We do not always act on violence. It was unnecessary action, but it was unfortunately we had no other choice. Sorry guys, give me a second here. Stupid thing. As Jedi's, we are not soldiers. We are guardians, peacekeepers. As they enter they're walking down the alleyway. As you could either go straight or take a left. As wait, the Padawan doesn't have the holocron. The Jedi, the Master has it. Sorry, guys, I totally messed it up. The Padawan has a big bag on his back with a bunch of full of holocrons from the Sith. She's like, "Here, Padawan, take this and put it with the rest. I think we're done. I think we're done here at this planet." She tosses the holocron. As the holocron is, they're good distance between each other, so they see the holocron stop in midair as it goes flying to the other side of the alleyway, towards the other direction, into the shadows. As Izumi steps out, as the Jedi eyes widen, as the Padawan's confused, as Izumi's like, "Thanks." She's like, "Thanks, I'll be keeping this. Sith holocrons don't belong in the possession of you filthy Jedi. Plague troopers, kill them. But leave the blonde Jedi alive. I have some questions for her." As the Jedi's like, "Padawan, run!" As Izumi lifts her up with one hand. as the Jedi Master is struggling to breathe, as she sticks her hand out in another direction. That will save him, Jedi. As she ignites Sith lightning, striking the Padawan as he falls down on the ground. I don't know what's in the bag, but retrieve it, trooper, and put a bullet in his head, or put a blast shot in his head. As the Jedi, after seeing what happened, ma'am, it's full of a bunch of holocrons, Sith holocrons by the look of it. Get it back to ship ASAP. You understand? I'll handle the Jedi. As she breaks out of the grip, Jedi is like, you pay for that. You didn't have to kill him. He was still too young. You're the most vicious Inquisitor I ever came across. As Izumi ignited her lightsaber. Okay, small pause. One regular bladed, stage one. Double bladed lightsaber, like Darth Maul's, stage two. And separated lightsaber in single bladed lightsaber in both hands is stage three. So that's just reference how I'm gonna refer them as. As she ignites in stage one, holding a single bladed lightsaber, like a normal one looks like it. As they stare down, I don't let petty emotions, morality get in my way, Jedi. As long as I get the job done, I don't care what method I have to use. Oh, and soldier, take this one as well. As she tosses the holocron towards the plague trooper as he retreats. As the Jedi unleashes her blue blade, as they get into a fighting pose, as they ignite in a lightsaber battle, as all the people that outside could hear it, all they could see is flashes of blue and red clashing in the night sky, in the alleyway exactly. As the Jedi goes into a laser solo, sorry, as she swings down, as Izumi parries it, as soon as it parries it, goes into stage two, double bladed lightsaber, almost cutting her head in half. If she didn't have enough instinct to jump backwards, that happened. As she sees the lightsaber, as Izumi's just flexing with her right now, just doing a couple move sets to get the feel for it again. Impressive, Jedi. But unfortunately, that's not enough. There is no hope for you and your kind. I'll give you a quick death. If you give me the location of Jedi Master Inko. Jedi's like, so you're after her. I'm not telling you nothing, Sith. As Izumi's very well, Jedi. The plague troopers did not leave their commander, all alone by herself to fight a Jedi. When they went back, they had a couple people backtrack towards where Izumi is. As they're in the air, like they hover down, pointing their rifle strictly at the Jedi. As there's laser pointers, pointing at her, as she knows that, as she's like, shit. Guess I gotta make my leave. And she's like, well, unfortunately, I would love to finish our duel, Sith and all, but I gotta bounce. As she has something in her hand. Well, she took something off the belt, off her belt, on her like it was side of her hip. Her robe was blocking it. Piece of her robe was blocking it. As she pulls out a flash grenade or flash grenade or whatever they have in Star Wars. I'm not totally sure, but she throws a flash grenade as she books it back. She's heading back to her ship. Let's head back to ship, men. Ma'am, are you sure we should pursue? Don't worry, I know where she's going. I've already had my little babies. I already had my little babies track the ship, so I know exactly where she's going. As they head back to the ship, as they blast off, as the Jedi already took off, as she's not going towards Inko. There's no one else. She's that stupid. As she's trying to contact the Jedi Council, as several shots come, laser shots coming down above her ship. As she sees the blacks, as she sees a glimpse of the black ship above her, as she's like, gotta give it, that Sith is pretty persistent. As they're flying, they're still out in unknown space, so they don't know what's out here. This Jedi, nor the Sith Inquisitor Izumi. And I know I'm using this like an easy way to transfer her to. I'm just using the wormhole just for excuse to make him transfer over to the RWBY universe. So I don't have a. So I want to do it this way. So it's not gonna be some unknown planet they just crash upon. Oh, there's still gonna be crash, but it's in a get transported in a wormhole. The space battle continues as she's in the middle of the command room with her hands behind her back. As there's sparks of things happen all around the bridge. That's where she's at basically. As she's like, report on the engines in our armor or shields. They're holding up, ma'am. If we push the engines too far, we don't know what's going to happen. We already pushing it further than it needs to be. The ship's not meant for this sort of abuse. As Izumi's looking at the battle, as this continues, her ship's not going to last. As the Jedi has a very good ship for this for I don't know what kind she has, but it's a pretty decent sized one, and this one's not meant for a heavy combat. So she's like, fire the main guns. Ma'am, we still need information. I have other ways to locate the Jedi. She's become too much of a hassle. Blow her out of the sky, or space. And when they're about to fire the main guns, something as the alarms go off, as he's me, what's the report? What's going on? Ma'am, something's going on. The systems are not working properly. The ship's going on haywire. As suddenly the hyperdrive activates on its own. It's just this ship's stealth pro. This is a prototype ship, so yeah, there's her master sees it. If she dies, oh well, he'll find another apprentice. But as they jump into high hyperspace, as everyone's on full alert, getting everything repaired, meanwhile, as she sits down in the chair, the captain chair, I guess you would call it. Let's just say the bridge has chairs and stuff like that, because don't want her standing the whole time. So she sits down. Report on damage report. Shields are barely holding together. Engines clearly amazed that they're still functioning right now. But after we get out of hyperspace, we will no longer be able to move. We have life support. We have power for the escape pods and the stealth field. That's all, ma'am. As 5 hours has passed, as they finally enter, the hyperspace finally give out, as everyone's relieved. They wanted to, disengage it by manually, but Izumi's like, "Are you idiot?" We'll we'll cut to a scene where they are asking, "Why don't we disengage it manually?" I was like, "Are you idiots? Are you just a bunch of idiots? We're in an uncharted space. We don't have the space charts. We don't know where we're going. And coming out of hyperspace, just out of random, we might as well be. There's a good possibility that we could exit hyperspace like inside of a star or in middle of a planet. And let's just say it won't end well for us. So let it run its course." My lord, when it but we still are given the same chance. Correctly. You're right. But I want to have I if our hyperspace disengaged, I want us to have some sort of repairs done already. So you know what the plan is. Everyone get going. Follow my orders. Yes, ma'am. As they do what they ask, as that's the little scene, because she's not an idiot. As they exit hyperspace, as it's just a dead night. There's no planets nearby. It's just dead as Izumi's thinking in her head as she's like, "We have some food, but we're going to have to ration because I don't. It's not going to last us long. We have enough in stock for maybe 3 years at the most. We do have stasis pods. In this, they have stasis pods. I'm not sure if they do have, in Star Wars. I know they have, no, I totally forgot about it. They got carbonite, but they're not. Oh, sorry, guys. I need to do. They're not going to carbonate themselves just to kill time. So they have stasis pods that stops the aging process and all that stuff. As she gathers all the crew. All right, man. We're in uncharted territory. Our engines are busted. We have life control for now. We are forced to we because of our situation. I am left with no choice but to immediately implement stasis for everyone until some time has passed since our situation will improve. Our droids will keep the ship running until such time arrives. As everyone, spend a half as everyone on leave for the whole night as she gets the she gets everything ready as they go into stasis. As they have one night, she bonds with her crew as she's very close to her plague troops. So she doesn't see them at pawns to toss them around. She actually she cares some degree, but it's hard to get to that caring side of her over all the Sith training and how she was raised. Her parents, her parents weren't like they weren't like abusive towards her, but they dictate what she would do, who she was going to marry. Just dictate every bit of her life, and she hates it. She hates that. That's the one thing she doesn't like about the serving the Empire is she still gets people are still dictating what she needs to do. So don't get me wrong, she loves the Empire, but she wants true freedom when it comes down to it. Now, some time has passed since they've been in stasis. Not sure how much, but a good amount of time has passed as during the ship's drift in space, it it gets rambled in asteroids. That's an asteroid, just asteroids in general. So it's got quite damage over the time as it drifts towards a newly formed wormhole that was there for about maybe a couple weeks, as it hasn't dissipated yet. As the ship gets sucked right into that sucker, as they spend a couple seconds in the wormhole, as it pops the ship right out in front of the planet, pretty close to the planet, but far enough that the wormhole's not in the atmosphere, but the ship gets spit out as it drifts towards the atmosphere. Goes towards the planet as it starts descending, as the ship's turning bright red as it enters atmosphere. As we're on to the RWBY planet now. As you have RWBY in a fighting stance, as they're a little bit outside of, a little bit further out than where their house is. I'm not sure like exactly like where their house is on the map, on the RWBY map, the landscape. Like, I don't really know where exactly it's at. I really don't. Let's say somewhere in the wilderness, because I think the house is actually, separated from a lot of things. So as Ruby and Crow are into a stance, she's like, "You ready for this, girl?" And she's like, "Yeah, Uncle Crow." As they go in, as they go into clash, as their Crow's still training Ruby on a couple things. As they break off from attack, as Ruby's like, "Uncle Crow, I always thought, what's in that flask? You always drinking it constantly." As as Crow laughs a little bit. "All you need to know, niece, it's my happy juice." As after that said, something caught her eye as she sees something coming in pretty fast in the sky. "Uncle Crow, what's that? Is it like a shooting star?" As Crow's like, "If it's a shooting star, it's coming down pretty hard and pretty fast. It's heading towards." As she's like, as it crashes far off, decent close to the wilderness, not too far away from Ruby's house. As Ruby's like, Ruby's excited. She's like, "Come on, Uncle Crow, let's check it out." "Fine, Pipsqueak, let's go. At least this will be more entertaining than watching me whoop the floor with you." And she's, "That's not. You didn't win." "Well, you fall on your ass several times. Says otherwise." As Crow's is, messing with Ruby. Now, when I said they were clashing, I forgot to mention they were fighting with their gears. So they were fighting against Crow was they were fighting with sight to sight. So that's what they're doing. As Ruby and I'm finally, they go into forest as Ruby's excited. As there's a loud ringing noise as Izumi wakes up out of stasis, as it's shocked. The machine that she's in, it's sparking as it's damaged. It kind of forcefully revived her early. As she gets up, as she checks her men, as yeah, it didn't go too well for them. They were killed in stasis, all of them. As Izumi, so that's how it's going to be. Very well. as she walks off, as she goes to command, as she knows she landed. It's the ship's messed up. It's no longer it's even if she could repair it, there's no way to do it. So yeah, so let's see. Her ship is so damaged, it's unrepairable. It's scrapped. It's a miracle that some of it survived during entry. It's a miracle that it's still no like one in a whole piece, but yeah, it's not repairable. The engines are the scrapped. Only thing working is the life support, but that doesn't need to worry about that because they're on the planet now. As she rushes over to command or the command center, as shit, communications off. As she opens the underneath it, as she combines a couple wires together, as she rigged it, as she's like, this is Inquisitor Izumi. Can you can you read Imperial Command? Repeat. This is Inquisitor Izumi. Repeat. Answer command. As there's this clear silence as it's working, it says she's not in the same, universe anymore. So as she's like, it's dead. It's like that shouldn't be possible. Even if we were unknown space, like we should be able to get an outpost or something. As she tries several different hails to different branches of the Imperial military, as nothing leaves. Izumi hears someone talking outside of the ship. As she gets her lightsaber, as she puts her helmet back on, as as Ruby Rose or Red Rose, I don't know her last name is Rose something. I know that much. As they come to the crater, as Uncle Crow, what kind of shooting star is that? As Crow's like, I've never seen one of that nature. As Ruby's like squeals a little bit, like excited squeal, like could it be a spaceship? And she's like, I've always wanted to see one of those. As Crow's like, calm down, Ruby, it's not safe. As Crow grabs Ruby, as the blast door opens on the ship. Now, for story's sake, they're able to communicate to each other. They speak the same language, just for my sake, because I don't want to go through the whole not understanding me thing, and then Izumi trying to kill everyone. So just by chance, um, what they speak, Izumi knows how to add different language together to come up with their language after a couple times speaking. So let's just say that. And she's like, I think I got enough of them talking, rambling on, and get the gist of their language. As Izumi's like, let's get this done. If they don't cooperate, I'll kill them. And she opens the door as Crow's on defensive. As Crow's like, get ready. We don't know what we're going to come up against. As Ruby gets into the defensive stance, as both their weapons are out, ready to strike if they need to. As all Crow can see, as he's hearing footsteps clinking on metal as she's walking towards the ramp, as they see someone in armor, but looks by the way her body looks seems quite young, just by the gist of her figure. As Izumi sees something a back of Crow and RWBY, as she throws her lightsaber, turns it on, throws it, as Crow and them are about to attack Izumi, as all they hear is a slashing motion, as they hear a screeching noise, as they look behind them, as they see a Grim, a just a bear Grim, head get chopped off as she catches the lightsaber, as she puts it back in on against her hip. As Crow's looking at this figure, as he's like, "What the hell is with this chick?" As she's like, "That in that weapon, I've never seen anything like it." As the weapon caught Ruby's attention, too. As Crow, "Ruby, be on guard. We don't know what this young. We don't know what her We don't know. We don't know if she's dangerous yet, or where she even came from." As Ruby nods, "Yes, yes, Uncle Crow." Izumi finally speaks up as she's like, "My apologies. That I didn't mean to scare you, or give you more urge to, attack me for no reason. It's a good thing I didn't rush out trying to kill you all." As Crow's like, "What?" "Oh," as Ruby's like, "What?" "Oh, nothing." Where am I? May I ask? As Crow's like, "What do you mean? I don't know what the area's called. So as what? As she, yeah, this is not Earth. So she was hoping it was Earth, but no, it wasn't. "Have you ever heard of a place called Earth?" As they like, "No." They shake their head. "No, we've never heard of a place called Earth." As Crow's like, "Who are you? And what's your attention?" As Izumi, "I am a Inquisitor for the from the Galactic Empire, Izumi, and I have no ill will attention towards you, or your people, for now." Izumi, a question: Have you developed space travel? As they're like, "No." As Crow's like, "Why?" "That depends if you have space travel or not. It depends on what I'm what I have to do, and I'll know if you're lying." "Fine. It's not a big secret, anyways. No, we haven't developed space travel of yet." I was afraid of that. You might not believe it by the look of it, but that was my spaceship before it got blown the fuck up. And I lost a lot of people, a lot of good people, on this stupid ass mission. As she sighs, as Crow's like, "What? You military?" As Izumi's, "Yes, you're correct. I'm a Inquisitor. I was." As Ruby's like, "What exactly is an Inquisitor? You say that. I've heard you say that a couple times." "It is my rank. I am a Sith Inquisitor, a Jedi hunter." As Jedi? It's a long story. I really don't really want to discuss this any further. If Kimmy's about to walk away, as she stops, "Your name was Crow, right?" "Yes." "Yes, Izumi? How about this? I'll tell you. You tell me things about this planet, and I will tell you things about me, about where I'm from." equal exchange of information. Don't you agree? Yeah, yeah, that's the best course of action at this point. Good. If you try anything, we'll take you down. Don't worry, I have no interest in any hostilities at at this point, Corral and Ruby. As that's where we're gonna stop it. Yeah, it's a good place to stop it there. Hope you guys have a good night and day. Judging my time zones. All right, bye.